I hear they really wanna know the truth, but when I approach them, they run into the
We
roof.
the Hebrews.
I hear they really wanna know the truth, but when I approach them, they running out their
We the
boots.
Hebrews.
I hear they really wanna know the truth, but when I approach them, they don't know what to do.
We the Hebrews.
I hear they really wanna know the truth, but when I approach them, approach them, approach them, approach them.
We the Hebrews. We the Hebrews. We the Hebrews.
Shalom, true Israel, the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. Today's lesson, we are Israel and it does matter. And this is going out to a lot of y'all because I know a lot of y'all just coming into this truth, just finding out that the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, the slave trade for 400 years, are actually the true biblical descendants of the Hebrew Israelite people. The descendants of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob through his 12 sons. And today lesson we're going to explain to you, a lot of you, because I know a lot of you are new in this walk, that we are the Israelites, that those people claiming to be the Israelites over in the land of Israel, the Israelis, are not bloodline descendants, but they are religious converts. And we're going to explain why it matters. You know, a lot of times you hear people say, well, it doesn't matter. It matters everything because, and I'm going to give you 3 distinct reasons why it really, really matters that you are true Israel and wake up into your heritage. Why the time that the Most High, who you guys call God, is putting His Spirit on us and waking us up out of His slumber, like He said in the book of Ezekiel, about the dry bones. And the dry bones is the whole house of Israel. Read that chapter, Ezekiel 37, I think. Read that whole chapter. Anyways, 3 reasons why it matters that you know that you are a Hebrew Israelite. An Israelite, a Hebrew is a language, is a descendant of Eber. And an Israelite is a descendant of Jacob through Abraham and Isaac. Jacob's name was changed to Israel in the Holy Manuscript. 3 reasons why it matters. First reason why it matters, it proves that the Holy Bible is true. It proves authenticity because the record of the Hebrew Israelite people is recorded, some of it over 3,000 years ago. And by it proving the things that have happened to us to a T, much later than that 300 years ago, proves that the book is accurate. It proves that it is a true prophetic book. As a matter of fact, it's the only book that's proven prophetic and never has been proven false. So it proves that the Bible is true when you can open it up and look at your own history and it matches. It proves that the book is true. Second, the Bible, the timeline of prophecy depends totally on Israel. Of course, and HaMashiach and the Most High, because we can't put dates. But I'm talking about the timeline that's given. When things happen, they always happen according to the children of Israel. That's the time clock of prophecy. Now, like I said before, we're not putting dates on anything because the book says no man know the day nor the hour. But we will know the seasons. And the seasons all occur according to the things that are happening to the children of Israel. The centerpiece of the Bible. This is a fact. And the last but not least, but the last reason why I say that it really matters is that there will be a false Israel. And this was told of in the scriptures in Revelation 2 and 9, Revelation 3 and 9. And they're called the synagogue of Hashatan. And the reason why is because this is also the false Israel. That the world, the false Israel will come so that the world will accept the false Messiah. This is the truth. The deception is already there. The world accepts these false people as the true descendants. And so the world is already in line to accept their false Messiah. They're already getting ready to build their temple. They got the menorah. They got the showbread tables over there and such, but we're not dealing with that. Anyways, so we're going to prove that you are the bloodline descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and why it matters. First, we're going to go to Deuteronomy 1:1. Now, this is after when the Most High led the children of Israel out of Egypt with His mighty hand by the way of Moses. He led them out. This is when they got on the other side. And the Most High told Moses to give these things, these laws and statutes and commandments to the children of Israel. We're going to read Deuteronomy 1:1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side Jordan in the wilderness, in the plain, over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel, and Laban and Hazeroth and Dizahab. So these be the words which the Most High spake unto all Israel. This is when the Israelite people were one nation. Actually, before they got into the Promised Land, when they crossed the river, on this side of the River Jordan, when they crossed the Red Sea, before they got into the Promised Land. Deuteronomy 1:1. Now we're going to go to Deuteronomy 28. So we're in the same book to prove that who he's talking to are the children of Israel. Deuteronomy 28, verse 1. And it reads as so. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken, remember he's talking to Israel. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord your God, to observe and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord your God will set thee high above all nations that are on the face of the earth. So the Most High promised the Israelites, he told them, if you obey my law, statutes, and commandments, and observe them this day, that I will set you high above all the nations of the earth. So all the Israelites had to do was keep his commandments, and they were going to be high above all the other nations of the earth. Verse 2. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken. Hearken means to obey. Unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Blessed shall thou be in the city, blessed shall thou be in the field. All of these, you can read them for yourself. The blessings, they go all the way down to verse, I think it's verse 14. Yeah, verse 14. They go down and tell them the blessings that were going to be bestowed upon the children of Israel if they obeyed the Most High. And we're going to read verse 15. He tells them, now, this is going to happen if you don't obey me. Verse 15, if they don't obey his commandments. But it shall come to pass. So it shall come to pass, not maybe. It will come to pass if you do not obey me. It shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto me, to the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee, and overtake thee. So all these curses are going to come upon the Israelites, and they will overtake them. All these curses will come upon the Israelites, and they will overtake them if they don't obey the Most High. First curse. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. I mean, you're going to be cursed in the city. You're going to be cursed in the field. Wherever you go, you're going to be cursed. If I go around and ask anybody right now today, who has the cursed neighborhoods in the city? Now, these are the words of Moses. This is well over 3,000 years ago. Cursed shall you be in the city. Cursed shall you be in the field. How is the exact same people in every city have the cursed neighborhoods? As a matter of fact, they got a nickname for them. They call it the hood. The cursed neighborhoods. It's so cursed that the people themselves do not even want to live in their own neighborhoods. They think they are successful when they can move into another nation's neighborhood. Who fits this prophecy? Cursed shall thou be in the field. Who was cursed to work out in those fields? From Brazil to Mexico to America. Who was cursed to work out in those sugar cane, those cotton, those tobacco fields, agriculture, textile industries? Who was cursed to work in those fields? You tell me. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. That means your businesses, your basket and your store. Your monetary, your money, your businesses, entrepreneurism. What people have a curse on their entrepreneurism? Think about it. What people cannot keep their... Now we get... you get independent ones that actually last. But as a whole, what people's business ventures fail regularly? What people can't even operate businesses in their own neighborhood? Who's the only people whose neighborhood businesses are ran by people of other nations? Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. You tell me, Israelites. Keep going. I mean, so many curses you can read. I'm not going to go through all. I'm just going to highlight through a few of them. We're going to go through, here we go. Let's go to verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. That happened all throughout slavery. It was such a regular occurrence. That's why we get so many different mulattoes and mixtures, they call them. They call them mulattoes. We don't call them mulattoes. Those children were Israelites also. The word mulatto actually comes from the term mule, meaning they mixed breed. We don't call them mulattoes. They're Israelites, even though they had Gentile parents, Gentile fathers most of the time, but they had Hebrew mothers. But it says, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Y'all seen the movies where they would take the slave's wife and make her lie with them. It was a regular occurrence. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. We built every government house in Washington, D.C., starting from the White House to the Capitol building and such, and we did not dwell in those places. As a matter of fact, the White House was called a White House. Figure that one out. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and thou shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Now you say gather the grapes, that doesn't make sense. How are you going to plant a vineyard? What it's talking about plantation work. And gathering the grapes means we're not going to gather them unto ourselves, for these are another people's, and we are working for them. These are another people's produce, and we're out there in the vineyards, but we can't gather anything unto ourselves. It's gathered for another people. We're going to go down to verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. Y'all know this happened. This is probably one of the worst things that happened in slavery, besides them throwing the children in alligator bait. They would take your children out of your hands, rip them out of your hands, screaming and hollering, and sell them right in front of your face. And you had no might in your hand. That's what it said. And it'll be shown no might in thy hand. You will have no might in your hand to save your own children. Not only that, but your eyes will fill with longing for them. That's talking about you will cry till you have no more tears left. Your eyes will totally fail. No more eyes mourning, like mourning over the death of a child, because they have taken your children and sold them, never to be seen of or heard of again. You can't protect your children. They sold your children like you were Lord and an animal. They wouldn't even do that to a dog. Not in that manner. We're going on to another. Here we go. This is a very interesting one. 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. And you're going to become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. He's talking about that we're not going to have a name for our nationality. An astonishment, everyone's going to be like, proverb. A proverb because we fit all the proverbs. We are a proverb. This is a fact. And a byword. A byword means anything but who you really are. This is one of the most important factors in proving that it is us. A byword, we have no nationality, which means we have no nation of origin. Nationality does not mean country. Nationality means ethnic origin of people of similar culture, background, and demographical region. Proverb and a byword. We go a new byword every year, from color to black to Negro to African American. Those are two separate continents. Afro-American, that's a hairstyle. I mean, colored, every color of the rainbow. I mean, come on. Where is the nation of African America at? Where is that country? But the Chinese come from China. The Italian come from Italy. The English come from England. I mean, you can go on and on and on. An Indian comes from India. And such. A Japanese come from Japan. But where is the African American country? Then they tell you to get over it and get over it. But culture and history are so important to everyone. That's why America celebrates the cultural holidays from 4th of July to Thanksgiving. And then tells them to get over that. They'll never get over their history. But they're quick to tell you to get over yours because yours is so significant. It's very, very important. I have a verse in Jeremiah to back this up. The Most High said this is going to happen to the children of Israel, that they're going to lose their identity. That's why we'll be able to call it a byword, because our identity will be lost in the last days. And so they'll give us any name besides who we really are, the children of Israel. Everyone, if you could turn your Bibles to Jeremiah 17, we're going to read verses 1 through 4, and we're going to be done with the first part of this lesson. Jeremiah 17, verse 1 through 4. Jeremiah 17. Verses 1 through 4. And here we read. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 1. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron and with the point of a diamond. It is graven upon the table of their heart and upon the horns of your altars. Whilst their children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the hills. Whilst their children remember. Why are the children not going to remember? Because they're going to lose their identity. O my mountain in the field, I will give thy substance and all thy treasure to the spoil, and thy high places for sin, throughout all thy borders. And thou, even thyself, he's talking to Judah, children of Judah, thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage. Heritage is your culture. It's who you are as a people. Your nationality is your heritage that I gave you. He said, and thou thyself shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. What heritage did he give us? Because Israel were the people that were called by the name of the Lord. We're going to go back in Deuteronomy and prove to you who we were. So we're going to discontinue from the heritage that he gave us in Deuteronomy. The heritage that he gave us. We are the people called by the name of the Lord. You hear a lot of times in the church they say the people called by the name of the Lord. The only people called by the name of the Lord from Genesis to Revelation is the Israelites. It's not the church. And thine shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. See, the Most High was so angry because our ancestors disobeyed him the way they did, and as boldly and ruthless as they did, that the Most High said, I'm going to cause y'all to discontinue from the heritage that I gave you. Deuteronomy 28, verse 10. Very, very important. Everybody's in the church, I want you to read this. Take it to your pastor. Tell him, why did you tell me that the church were the people that are called by my name? If my people that are called by my name shall humble themselves, pray, turn from their wicked ways and seek my face, then I will heal their land. Their land, that's talking about Israel. That's talking about us. That's not no church. Deuteronomy 28, 10. And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. All the other people on the earth will see that thou art called by the name of the Lord. It's the Israelites. It's us. Shalom.